Today in this podcast, we will be talking about Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip took place in various places in Europe and the Americas 1945 after World War II. Operation Paperclip, in summary, was basically the gathering of many scientists by von Braun to the U.S. so that the U.S. can gain information about Germany's technology. Enjoy the podcast. Imagine a time when nations would go to extremely brutal measures to gain more knowledge than their enemy. A time when an innocent person, like me or you, could be experimented on, possibly until the very last breath. This is what World War II was like for the Jewish people and many others.
Sadly, the Nazis gained plenty of valuable information from these ruthless experiments that were done on these poor, innocent people. Not only biology tests, but also technological and mechanical information. These innovations, through the forced labor of the Jews imprisoned by Nazis, including women and children, brought improved warfare to Germany during World War II.
As you all know, the US won the war against Germany. Knowing that the Nazis had gained plenty of advances in almost all fields, the US decided that they too needed to get their hands on this valuable information.
This search for the Nazis' advances was named Operation Paperclip, where the US was able to bring Nazi scientists from Germany to give information about some of the technological, biological, and mechanical advances made by Germany during World War II.
And today, we'll be going into detail on both what was done with this information and how it affected the outcome of the war and the aftermath of World War II, along with deep diving into the life of a very important figure during Operation Paperclip, Wernher von Braun.
Starting, let's go into detail about the actual event. What was Operation Paperclip?
Great question, Felipe. Operation Paperclip was a secret intelligence program run by the U.S., where Nazi soldiers and scientists of all fields were brought from Germany, either willingly or through pressure, and questioned about German technologies and innovations during World War II.
That's right. And you may be wondering, why were Nazis so willing to come to the US and give up such valuable information? Well, it's simpler than you would expect it to be. After the war, the policy of Nazism had lost nearly all of its power and relevance in Germany, which made former Nazis very judged and frowned upon. Returning to Germany as a Nazi could have been potentially dangerous for former soldiers, which made it a relatively easy decision to escape the judgment and be offered safety in the US.
About 1,800 Nazi scientists, engineers, physicists, chemists, and doctors were brought over to the U.S. Around 3,700 people from these scientists' families came as well. They were either interrogated or simply gave the information, based on how willing they were to be cooperative with the Americans. One engineer gave the best words on why Nazi scientists were so willing to go to the U.S. Quote, "We despise the French. We are mortally afraid of the Soviets. We do not believe the British can afford us. So that leaves us, the Americans." And no name was given for the engineer.
The point of the operation was mostly for information on rocket science, but only partially. Other fields were discussed, such as synthetic fuels and medicine. One of the biggest achievements from this operation was the discovery of the invention of the V-2 missile, invented by Wernher von Braun. This missile was the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile.
The operation was run by Dr. Wernher von Braun, who is a former Nazi scientist. After hearing that Hitler had died, Dr. Braun felt inclined to come to the US and build rockets for America. In cooperation with American officials, he brought all of our information was provided by articles from History.com, Britannica.com, Project Paperclip, and American Rocketry After World War II by Michael Neufeld, and the secret intelligence program that brought Nazi scientists to America by Kirkus Reviews.